Hi everyone, welcome back to another VOD review. As you may be able to tell, I'm kind of bored today. Well, I just don't have much to do with my day, to be honest. Mostly owing to the dearth of high-level games because of playoffs. I say high-level, this is probably pretty high-level, to be fair. So, let's get into it. Having gone through the LPL series earlier, I did game one. Yeah, I did both the games of GT versus... who are they? Vici Gaming earlier. Probably only going to upload number one. Number two was like a 48-minute long VOD, and actually not much happened in the game. It was pretty boring and not very well played. So I don't think I'll... And there was a bunch of buggy stuff happening, Skype popping up and all kinds of nonsense. So probably won't be going through that one. What we will look at is Schalke04 versus Schalke04, sorry, versus Misfits. Honestly, again, as with the LPL series, I really don't know much about Misfits. Obviously, I've watched a fair bit of Schalke, not as much as perhaps I should have over this season. I've not paid them that much thought. I've been concentrating mostly on other regions, mostly Korea and some other bits and bobs, and it's interesting as well. But I'd quite like to see some of Misfits play against an LCS team. So let's get into it. Starting off with the draft. Bans-wise, GP is a fairly standard ban. I think Alfaro is pretty good on it, although I can't be sure. A lot of top lane bans, actually. 3 top lane bans. The Fiora ban is pretty indicative of Misfits. One thing I do know about Alfaro is that he loves Gnar and Trundle, so the Fiora ban takes them off the table. Absolutely fine with that. The Hecarim ban, not too much to talk about there. Nidalee ban, okay, they don't want to give Gilius Nidalee, he really likes her. Malzahar still considered a power pick. This is on patch 6.14? The one before the lane swap changes. Patch 6.14, I believe. So, first pick Vladimir. This is something we've seen in a couple regions now. Some people just really prioritize it. Some people think Vladimir is completely broken. I'm not totally convinced, especially when Karma exists. Karma, pretty good lane matchup. And if you take away the Karma, it's fine. So first rotation, blue side Vladimir. Straight away into Gnar and Rek'Sai. This is kind of odd, because it leaves open Karma Sivir for the opposite end of the draft. They don't pick it up, which, again, I don't like. But I'm not sure I'm a big fan of either of these first 2 rotations. Wisdom, probably, I mean, just has a preference for Rek'Sai over Gragas, which is fair enough. I'd probably rate Gragas higher, but Rek'Sai is absolutely fine here. But I would say that you should probably take at least one of Karma or Sivir away here, just to deny them from Schalke. Because especially if you're picking your jungler here, they still get Gragas, whatever happens, right? So they could have just rotated Sivir Karma next rotation. So moving on to that. Tahm Kench here is really odd. Again, they don't have to pick Gragas here. They could just wait, so they want to hide something. Tahm Kench is a flex pick and is really highly valued, but with Malzahar off the table, Ashe is still up, but there's not actually that much pick that you want to deny. So I think Tahm Kench is pretty odd here, especially seeing as the top lane is already locked in. You could just lock your Shen in here and be okay with that, because Shen Vladimir is super strong. And you could rotate Sivir Karma. I think Sivir Karma would have been a much better rotation here, honestly. I'm not sure about the Tahm priority. I think everyone should be able to play Sivir Karma. Honestly, they're just so strong right now. I really can't see a reason not to pick them, because if you end up with Vladimir, Sivir Karma, and then they already have their top laner out, so you get Shen Gragas, this is pretty much like the pipe dream ultimate draft, right? So I have no idea what stops them from going for it there. And Tahm, the other thing is that there's not really that much single target. Okay, so there is the potential for Hands to pick Ashe here and then go for a pick comp, but like Elise is off the table, Malzahar's off the table. Most of the super strong single target pick champions that we associate Tahm Kench as being a counter pick to are already off the table. Jin's there, to be fair. Jin is there. Still, I don't really like the Tahm Kench pick here. I don't see the need. Like, what are you mitigating? And you can always save it till later. There's no need to rotate it there. You can put it in your final round of picks. The response then, Sivir Karma, absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that. Literally can't go wrong with this lane. There's absolutely nothing that can go wrong with it, in my opinion. I do prefer Karma as a mid laner now, given that the movement speed on her E scales with level. So obviously having a high level champion helps. Having Karma in your solo lane rather than your support, although supports are less underleveled nowadays because of the lack of lane swaps in the meta, you're still going to be lower than everyone else because you're expected to roam a lot. Shen Vladimir, super strong. You end up with a Tarm Jhin bot lane into Sivir plus something. Tarm Jin's really safe, but like it's a decent lane to synergize with, but I think Trundle here is a better pick, actually. Even if you're going for support. Not that you know that Sivir is going to be locked in, but Trundle actually does a lot to counter Sivir, does a lot to counter kind of we're going to run at you compositions. Always helps to have the extra engage when you're playing with a Vladimir as well. So overall, I'm not a massive fan of Schalke's draft, and I think Misfits probably win out this one. They have counter matchup in both mid and top lane. Gnar into Shen, pretty good, should have push advantage up until fairly late into the game when Mega Gnar stops being able to like hyper him down. Not that Mega Gnar hypers, but you know what I mean. He transforms into Mega Gnar and then Shen just sits there like, haha, you can't do anything now because you're not in Mega Gnar, not in Mini Gnar form. Karma into Vladimir, counter matchup, super safe bottom lane, and you have Trundle to counter Shen. So I'm not sure what this draft is about, honestly, from Schalke. Probably spent a bit too long on the draft there, but I really don't like it. Really don't like it. So moving on. Don't want to hear from you. Oh wow, attractive face. Okay, so we're into game. Scaling wise, I think both teams are fairly even on scaling. Karma, she has a lot of pokey burst, but it's very front loaded and it tends to drop off towards the end of the game. She makes up for it with utility. Gnar brings really nice teamfight damage. Sivir, highest teamfight damage AD carry in the game, late game. Vladimir, really strong late game, and so is Jhin, but Schalke, much more of a 2-threat comp. Schalke's probably going to be looking more for picks. They do have a strong global advantage with Tarm and Shen, something that I didn't cover. They're playing in double teleport, so Misfits should probably try and look to play the early game pretty hard here. I don't know about the Trundle pick. I mean, it's great for sapping the Shen's resistances in a team fight, or the Gragas, or the Tarm. So there's a lot of targets for it, even the Vladimir. And the pillar is really annoying when he goes into puddle. I think Braum works just as well here. Braum counters Gragas's cask, can stop a lot of damage from Tides of Blood from Vladimir, and can stop the Curtain Call. You could even go for a double range matchup here. You have a tank in the jungle and a tanky top laner. So both teams starting fairly standard with their jungler and top side on the opposite side of the map. Late invade from Schalke to deny the camp. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But I think Misfits definitely have the edge pretty much in all of these lanes. They have probably a push advantage here. Well, it's odd that Fox is getting pushed in early. Normally Vladimir tends to push Karma in earlier on. Maybe it's only kind of post level 3 or 4 that he starts pushing her in pretty hard. But you don't tend to see Vladimir's get pushed in that hard by Karma. It's okay to be playing laid back here though. You pretty much want to wait for level 6 with this comp from Schalke, and then just deliver someone in, Shen ulti someone in, hit the Jhin ulti, and away you go. Make a pick. Probably more pick oriented from Schalke, but they do have really nice team fight as well. Now with a very late invade into the jungle. But I like it. Stops Gillish from taking his red buff at least, and he gets a ward down onto it. So Misfits playing towards their bottom side currently. Alfari's got to be careful here. They ping it out, so they're communicating well. If he can get this wave into the tower, then that's ideal for him, and he can then... Well, he's got a ward down. Gragas can still come around from the Tribush though. Ping's going down onto him, so no. Good tracking of the jungler. I'm assuming this is by Wisdom, but it could not be. It could be from someone else. long is this game actually? Oh wow, it's pretty long. Whoops. Maybe I shouldn't have selected such a long thing. Oh well, no, it's not that long actually, like 35 minutes from now. So it's not the longest VOD reveal I've done. But I tried to keep it to the shorter games. Rek'Sai looks like it's going for an early Tiamat. Maybe just farm this out. In terms of where they want to play to, it's hard to say with these compositions. Jintarm's very safe, and Civitron doesn't have that much gank potential. Doesn't really have any hard CC. Maybe your best lane to gank is the Shen lane. Try and set the Shen behind and get a split push advantage on Gnar. Wisdom spotted on the ward at Wraith Camp. This is a really late red buff take from Gilius. He's still left the red buff. That's really odd that he's going back up top lane now. He's really scared of entering this red side jungle for some reason. He must think they still have it warded, or that it's still, or that maybe he thinks that Wisdom went in and took it actually. Yeah, that would have been a safe assumption to make, to be fair, when he doubled back. That Wisdom just went in and took it, and that's why Ignar was invading. Lane's going pretty much the way we expected them to. All the lanes pushing in. Bit surprised that Wisdom isn't invading more. I think he could be. With the lanes going, you know, this far, they have literally 3 pushing lanes. When you're playing a jungle like this, you want to invade. So I imagine Gilius is surprised as well that he actually managed to get his red buff there. You'd have thought Wisdom would go in and take it. Because, I mean, Vladimir's not going to come and contest. Karma's much more potent at this stage of the game just because she has hard CC. Jintarm's fairly annoying to invade against though. They have a lot of pick potential. So Gnar looks like he's going for a Black Cleaver first rather than Frozen Mallet. Makes sense against Shen. Shen's going to be building armor. I was quite surprised that Misfits didn't actually beat Origin. CS numbers very even across the map, apart from Selfie into Fox. Selfie is, from what I've heard, pretty good mid laner. He's up for a lot of people, right? So, like a lot of LCS teams. So he's certainly on a level with Fox. Going for the Athenes here. I still don't know about the Athenes build on Karma. I think, especially when they have no other magic damage on their team, it leaves them very magic heavy. I mean, physical heavy, sorry. I would definitely, as a utility item, prefer Renalamcon into Ardent Sensor, I think. You can build both, but that puts you super behind in terms of damage. I really like Ardent Sensor. It gives you an easy way to 40% CDR as well, without having to go for like Sonya's or Abyssal. Abyssal's not a bad shout on this team though, considering they have like a fair amount of magic damage. Gragas, Vladimir, Tarm, Shen deals a fair bit as well. So, wouldn't mind seeing an Abyssal on Karma to complete the... I mean, that's one reason why to go for the Athenes actually. So, maybe that's the reason Selfie's gone for it. Maybe he just prefers that. There's a lot of variance in Karma builds, but I think Renalamcon into Vladimir, Tarm, I think I prefer that personally. Look at the vision control from Misfits. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6 wards in the top side plus Scuttle Crab. No, 7 wards in the top side plus Scuttle Crab. That's a lot of wards. It's a lot of vision control. They're not playing towards this bot side at all. So they are literally just giving Alfari the freedom to push. Built up CS advantage so far. But he's just going to go back on this. No, he's not recalling actually. I'm surprised there that he decided to. Or if he had decided to, I would have been surprised, I should say. You're fine if you go even with Sivir here. And you're fine if you just let Karma lane into Vladimir because you have a good counter matchup and you have faith in your mid laner. Smart to get the Scuttle Crab when you've invested all of your wars, but Gilius has really not had a presence so far in this game. Rek'Sai's out farming him and got a better vision control. I mean, in fairness, there's a lot of vision towards the bottom side for Fox as well, so teams are kind of just trading vision at this point. There's the Tiamat rush. So Wisdom's just going to go for the out farm. Selfie's continually harassing this Vlad. 10 CS up right now is pretty good. Pretty good for 8 minutes. denying a CS per minute, more than a CS per minute really. So it looks like Misfits are just going to accrue minor CS leads over the course of this game, which they're fine with, you know. You're okay with going late with this composition. That's a lot of chunk damage onto hands though. Wow. Oh dear. I don't think it would have mattered if the first one had hit anyway though. I think Ignore would have been just fine tanking that up. Blue for selfie. Hands is low. Channel is up right now, so they have to be careful with this play. Narbar isn't quite there yet. This is the thing they need to be really careful of. Ooh, that Deadly Flourish. Oh, that's just unfortunate. I think if that had landed, then they definitely get something off it. Because Hands was fairly chunked as well. Now they just get to push out the bottom lane. Alfari is at least keeping Steve pinned to this tower. Like if he teleports away now, then Alfari will probably just get his tower. So it's good that he's perma pushing. Mid lane up to 17 CS ahead now. Quite decent. So I think that makes 3-1 for Scuttle Crabs for Misfits. So Wisdom doing a better job of getting the Scuttle Crabs, certainly. Easy when you're on 3 pushing lanes though, really easy. But they're pushing so many waves into towers and moving around the map enough to at least force Schalke to react. And when you have to react, when you have waves pushing into your tower, it means you lose CS. Now we have Wisdom invading. How did Fox drop so low? Oh, we don't see. Just from permanent trading from Selfie, I suppose. He's still full mana when he's recalling. Rek'Sai's gone back, so yeah, Nars and base. Good time to recall. Athene's into Sork shoes. Okay. I wonder what he'll fill out the rest of the build with for the remaining 20% CDR. It's possible that he has some CDR on runes actually. Then he can just go straight into Rabadons now if he wants, if that's the case. Nars Black Cleaver's finished, so this matchup for Shen gets even worse. And as long as they can stop Shen from or stop Alfari from being ganked, then they're absolutely fine. Both teams playing like very heavily towards, well, not heavily towards bottom side actually, but both junglers playing towards bottom side right now. Surprised Gnar hasn't at least. I'm surprised they haven't at least tried to gank Gnar. Because if you gank Gnar, then you free up your global advantage. If you free up your global advantage, you should be able to take this dragon. Because they have a nice comp for making picks. Really nice comp for that. And okay, so what goes wrong there? Is this just mispositioning? So he hits the spell shield there, he dodges that, then he comes forward with no spell shield. Oh, and he just stands next to a wall and gets licked by Tom. Okay. Maybe he thought he was safe because he dodged the Deadly Flourish, but even so, they had no vision in these bushes right here, right? The ones in the lane, and they had no vision on Gragas either at that point, I don't think. Or maybe they did. Did they have vision on Gragas? They must have seen him in his jungle. Okay, so they see Gragas here anyway. So they know Gragas could be coming for a play onto them right now. Our hand shouldn't be getting too far forwards anyway at this point. Unfortunate. Rek'Sai's on top side of the map. You should be able to take a dragon for this, seeing as Vlad's just pushed in. Selfie was roaming into the top side with Rek'Sai. So that's Infernal Drake, good for the late game scaling. I really like Infernal Drake with Jhin actually. I've never really heard anyone comment on this, but Obviously, Infernal Drake is better on champions that go for AD items rather than like AD and attack speed, for example, like you would on, I don't know, an Ashe. And Jhin only gets AD. He gets AD from everything. He gets AD from crit, gets AD from attack speed, so I think Infernal Drake is even better for him than most other people. Also, even better for Vlad, because Vlad will get health off of it. So that's pretty nice. Does the pillar actually hit anyone? Yeah, it does. It hits Rallis. Spratter just eats him. That shouldn't happen. You shouldn't, especially without even getting hit by Deadly Flourish, you shouldn't be far enough forward to just get eaten by Tom. It's really weird that happened. Let's get forward a little bit more. Wisdom Stone base. The Misfits are still up in gold, even despite those 2 kills, just because of the strong lanes. I really hate this draft from Schalke. They put themselves in this position. I really don't like Vladimir as a first pick on blue side. I mean, the Tarm's okay, but like, what is he protecting against? It stops them picking Ashe, sure, but Sivir's up. You don't care. Like, if you're bringing loads of AoE damage, which they are, or sustained damage, then you don't care. Like, you need to dodge out single target burst and pick a Tarm. Schalke's at least playing the map fairly well. They lose their top lane tower, and they know they're going to lose it, so they use both of their globals right here to just get it onto the blue buff. How could they have avoided this? So they see... Okay, they see him taking the blue buff, and they go to engage onto him, but Vladimir's actually on the... If you look at mid lane right now, Vladimir's on the right side of the lane to come and contest this, and the jungler's on the other side of the map. They can see the bottom lane on a ward right now. Can they see them like 5 seconds ago? When do they see the bot lane? So they should see the bot lane on that ward about now. Potentially a bit too late, but right now they should be thinking, we shouldn't be here. Also, they don't have any summoners. And Shen's dropped out from Vision. Oh no, he hadn't dropped out from Vision, but he was hanging back, so they knew that he was in a position to teleport. So just don't contest that blue buff. It's not a big deal. Like, it's nice to have it on Karma, but she already has Athene's down, so, and she's beating the living crap out of Vladimir, so it doesn't actually matter. It's blue buff. They do at least get Rift Herald, which is a big deal. Rift Herald onto Nahir is really nice for them. I think split pushing is probably their biggest win condition. Because team fighting, I don't think either side really has a big edge in this. So they just want to make Alfari unstoppable. Unfortunate that Shen gets the kill there, but he gets the Rift Herald, so they're probably even in value, especially as he's already about a kill ahead in CS. Well, maybe more than a kill. What is he, 15 CS up? Yeah, about a kill, maybe a tiny bit more. And that's why Karma Trundle is really annoying into Vlad. He has to burn Flash and Protobolt there to get out of the Tether Pillar combo. They staggered it a bit, they could have waited. Pillar could have gone down after the Flash. Still, they get his Flash out for nothing. So now the top lane's down. I mean, they haven't used their TPs that much, but they're actually just winning this from laning phase. Slightly. I mean, they did lose that Infernal Drake, though, just because of sloppiness in the bottom lane. But overall, I'd say it favours them to just stay in lane phase. That Jhin damage is doing some work, though. Rallis stepping up. Feel pretty bad for Schalke getting relegated, to be honest. Especially after, like, I mean, maybe it shouldn't factor into it, but they actually just bought a team, and it's, like, really good for esports and League of Legends specifically that, like, a big name is getting involved in terms of buying a team, an actual, like, legit sports club as well. You know, it brings really good media coverage, but then if they just get relegated straight away and lose all their investment, which they do, then other actual sports investors, rather than esports investors, physical sports investors, I should say, will not be too keen on that, which is a shame. look like Schalke's going to get a bottom tower here. They just force them off, I guess. Yeah. So probably should have been paying a bit more attention. So they actually just recall. I guess they thought Jin had gone back. I don't have vision of him. When was the last time they see him? Ages ago. Okay. So the last time they see him is at 17 minutes. Then he runs back, acts as if he's going to go back, and just sits in this bush. Oh no, he fires a deadly flourish there. Gragas is in base, but they don't know. They don't want to risk coming out and getting killed here by Gragas. Shen TP is up, but his ulti isn't up. So maybe they're being overly cautious here. Especially if they go forward there. Rek'Sai's ulti actually is up at that point. If it's communicated, then maybe they can go forward there and they don't lose a tower, I think. But I feel like they have to back off. But I think Rek'Sai and Rek'Sai could have gone bot there. Karma has a wave pressure, she could have TP'd. The item disparity isn't huge at this point, so like between Jin and Sivir that is. Jin's a fair bit ahead, but you have a tower there. There goes the tether. Fox is dead. Okay, what causes this? Again, just no wave pressure. No wave pressure on Steve. And they have two people invested into taking a tower down there. So Ignar knows this, he roams. Nice from him. Sprattle just a tiny bit too late. Unfortunate for that. Ow. Now Alfari has 2 kills, that's horrible. Oh, 3 kills, that's pretty bad. He's going to have enough of a frozen mallet soon and then Steve is absolutely screwed. Welp. Wait, how's that start? They just bring everyone in. That's literally it. Gilius is there actually. Does he miss his cask? Yeah, he does. He screws his cask up. He knocks them into him. He could have cast earlier actually and knocked them away, and maybe it would have been okay. Sprattle probably would have been there in time to eat Vladimir. Maybe they could have done something. So Sivir rotates faster than Jin, and Jin can't get through the jungle very easily here. It's not good positioning for him. So now, there's the frozen mallet. Don't know about this, it's pretty risky. Because if they start a team fight here on you, bad things can happen. Good cask. Oh my god, the Gnar ult. Yeah, this Gnar is ridiculously enormous. I don't think straight up team fighting is really their strength here. They want to make small picks. Just going for like a straight up dragon take there is silly risky when they can 5v5 you like that. I mean, let's look at the map when it happens. Okay, so round about here. This right here is when they decide to take dragons. So they push mid in, but it's not a big wave or anything. Karma's cleared with that wave now. They don't have Sivir ulti, but everyone's up. They think they can just get away with this, but they don't really have a quick dragon take. It's Jin Vladimir. Did the Sivir even go back? So after this play, everyone's moving on the map. Sivir's just in the bottom lane. And they see everyone now. They see them all moving in now. No one moves out to peel either. They try and just burn it. I think they just give up one person here, honestly. Maybe they just give up one of their players. It's not like they're going to take another tower off it, apart from maybe bottom lane. But maybe you take that trade. Really nice Gnar ulti from Alfaro, to be fair. Really nice Gnar ulti. Okay, so they get a bottom lane tower. Maybe they just give up one person for that. Maybe Fox goes in zones. But, I mean, they started that without Hemoplague as well, which is big. Like, if Fox has Hemoplague there, at least maybe he can go in and stall for a lot of time, you know? But, alas, he does not. Wisdom 107 right now. See that in slow motion, shall we? It is a good cask, but they disrespect the flash from Gnar. Got to be so careful about timing Gnar bar when you're playing against Gnar. Everyone needs to know what Gnar's on. Now the Rabadon's complete for Karma. Sivir going Essence Reaver straight into IE. Normally you'd expect at least a Zeal there before the IE. This game should be in the bag for them now, honestly. Unless they really screw up. I don't think there's that much pick potential on Schalke. It's not like they have insane pick. Like, Tarm Jin's pretty nice. Gragas helps. Shen's good, but as soon as Shen leaves, if you're against this Gnar, you lose a tower. 21 minutes, nearly 3 items. It's so painful. And Karma's not going to out-siege your Vladimir all day, as she has been doing the whole game. Interesting that they're going for a 1-3-1 here, actually. Normally you don't do that with Karma, but seeing as you have Sivir in the mid lane and Trundle, and the only person they can send into this side lane is Vlad, right? And Vlad gets battered by Karma. This is why you don't, though. This is why you don't send Karma into a side lane on her own. We trade a tower for a kill, though, so it doesn't really matter, ultimately. They can be okay with taking that loss. The question is if Schalke can do anything with this 25 seconds left of death timer. I think they get a mid lane tower here. Alfaro's going back without TP. Interesting ulti from Rallis. So they give themselves up, but they don't give the tower up. Selfie now has TP. So 2 kills for a tower in all, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, as I was saying, normally you want Karma with the team when you're operating with her. Because you don't build any pen on her normally, or at least until quite late into the game. I think she's going Void Staff now, actually, but generally speaking, the AP is best served shielding people and just doing poke, but it's not like you can combo someone. Maybe against Vladimir it's excusable because it's a counter matchup and he's been absolutely taking it to Fox all game and he's like pretty far ahead. But normally you'd want Karma with Sivir so that you can make rotations around the map with it. Now goes to the bottom lane because Baron's up. Nothing abnormal there. The 2 Infernal Drakes are really going to help out Schalke's team comp though. It's really nice for them. Especially given their champion choices, the late game team fight helps so much, but it's just, there's no option for this Shen. That's why you keep seeing him teleport out of lane to try and make plays across the rest of the map to capitalize on it, but you can't when you have no wave pressure, and you have no wave pressure because this Gnar is beating on you. Selfie is on the other side of the map without TP though. He's stalling so much time here. He might get out of this. This is a pure 4v5 though. As if they managed to get out. Really nice kiting from them. Without even having Karma there. Just shows how ahead they are. And they were well coordinated as well, to be fair. Really good knock up from Rek'Sai. Don't know if they can carry on this siege though. Schalke bent a lot of ultis though. 4 ultis down. 3 from Misfits though. I'm scared to take a dragon without Jhin though. It's hard for them without Jhin, Vladimir ultis. The ultis aren't so much of a big deal for Misfits. So there's their Mountain Drake. I keep sending Selfie off into the side lanes though, which I'm not a huge fan of on Karma. I think they should just be grouping 4-1 here. Schalke aren't going to 4-1. I mean, Schalke aren't going to 1-3-1. You just make a lane slow push. You slow push the top wave here, bully the bottom wave, and then siege the mid wave. And then you get all 3 lanes pushing in, you take Baron. Rinse, repeat. 1-man Hemo Plague. And Shen just can't move because he's stuck to his tower here. Rek'Sai can go back and Void Rush. That's the name of the ability. I forgot it last video. Can Void Rush back in. Doesn't even need to. Just going to go clear the jungle. I think Misfits could be going for an earlier Baron than this. They don't have the highest Baron damage comp, but they're not low either. Tiamat Rek'Sai certainly helps. Karma's got a lot of damage and a lot of shielding as well. They won't take much damage from it because of the just repeated shields from Karma. But yeah, like I said, all the waves pushing in, now on the bottom wave. Gillis gets tethered by Selfie. Selfie's out of mana though. He's really out of mana. Why was Hans tanking that instead of Wisdom? That's pretty odd. Okay, but you don't lose anything because they push all their waves in. So at least their waves are managed. And they have good vision pretty much everywhere. You see in the jungle all the entrances to everything, like all the pathways towards Baron are warded. In fairly, at least most of them in fairly inconspicuous places. But it's really hard for Fox to make any kind of play here, apart from just a pick. Just a miracle pick with a Gragas body slam flash. And the only person you can really pick here is Selfie, I guess. You can pick Hans Sammer if he's away from Selfie. But if he's there, like, close to Selfie, it's going to be really difficult. Just because of severe ult, Karma-y. The Rabadons plus the Athenes is going to be shielding for so much at this point. It's just hard for Schalke to make anything happen here, honestly. And they don't have great wave clear either. Their AD carry doesn't have great wave clear. Their mid lane doesn't have great wave clear. Not long range wave clear at least. So pushing out these waves is super difficult. Misfits just get a free ticket to the Baron. They can just keep doing this, keep playing this game. They don't even have to take any risks. It's very low risk League of Legends, and they keep pushing in waves. They keep getting CS advantages. They just have to keep leaning on this Shen and pressuring the rest of the map. It's not too much to talk about, honestly. It's fairly simple. But when you have a top laner with 5 kills, it's just, this is your ideal scenario, you know? Interested that Nar went for Randuin's instead of finishing the Spirit Visage. I suppose he had Mercs as well, but maybe just go Warden's Mail and finish Spirit Visage there. There's not exactly many physical threats. Like the crit reduction helps on Jin's 4th shot of his ulti and his normal auto attacks, so I guess that's fair enough. But mostly Nar's not like a backline diver. He's like a frontline team fighter in terms of he's normally in the middle of everyone. Oh wow! Don't tank Baron, Hans. Hans has to flash out. Fox again, one of the one-man Hemo plagues. Steve is taking up so much time though. Ignar doesn't have ulti up. That's really big for that. Mostly is the cask though, and the fact that Handsam was tanking Baron again. It's the second time that he's been super low off the back of one of these Baron plays. Poor positioning from him. 0-4-6 is showing. The rest of the team's basically not died. Half the deaths on his team. Kind of sloppy. They won't take a mid tower off it though, just because Selfie has such good wave clear and poke, and they don't have good wave clear and poke, and Rallis is out of mana. Without mana on Rallis to make a pick onto Selfie, then they can't siege at all. But Misfits don't lose anything from it still. They lose a bit of gold because, well, they don't lose gold, but they give some gold back. Tom Kench is ulting in. Alfari has Mega Gnar, but not for much longer. Wow. You dared, Hans. Alfari's in, his Mega Gnar's gone. This is good timing for Fox, not Fox, for Schalke. Didn't get his Mega Gnar back. Shouldn't be making plays there, outside of his Mount Narbar. I wonder if Schalke will actually be able to get an objective off of this. It looks like they're actually going to get a tower. Holy hell. How did that whole play start? That's what I'm interested in. So, after this botched Baron, everyone just kind of goes back to lanes. Alfari's top with Mega Gnar. Sivir's pushing bottom. Like, it looks like a safe situation for Handsummer right now. Is it the Time Kench ult? Right, yeah, it's the Time Kench ulti that goes past. Wisdom starts taking Dragon. But they don't have mid lane clear here. They do have a ward there. Do they see everyone? I mean, they see everyone coming up mid lane. They see Time Kench Vladimir coming. Vladimir doesn't have flash, doesn't have ghost, but he does have flash and proto belt. This is kind of disrespect from Hans. Vladimir Time just pop up right on top of him. The whole thing gets started by Handsummer. 2 plays now where Handsummer's fucked everyone just by tanking the Baron, although I'm not sure if it was his fault in that instance, but having to flash out the fight, not being there. 2 times where he's done 0 damage in a team fight. So there's something going wrong there with his positioning. The rest of that fight's history because Alfari's Mega Gnar bar is already down by the time he even comes in and he doesn't get to use it. They're focusing down properly. They're seriously not going to get a tower for this? Wow. Schalke's doing such a poor job of converting kills into objectives this game. Like I said, it's hard with this draft just because they have absolutely no siege, no wave clear, no wave pressure, nothing. There's nothing that can clear out waves quickly on this team. If you're Steve, I think you even consider going for like a Titanic Hydra here or just a Tiamat, anything. It's hard though when you're... Oh, forgive me. Excuse me. So far down. I guess it's getting late on into the day. Wisdom does his best here. By the time the Hemo Plague there is down onto him. Does he spell shield anything there? Yeah, he does. He gets 1 Tides of Blood spell shield. Don't know if there's anything he could have done better there. Apart from just not being there in the first place. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we get it. They lost. It was silly. Moving onwards. Misfits is still so far ahead in gold though. Just this whole time they have waves pushing into the enemy towers, just dying, denying them all this CS. How far is, what, 77 ahead of Steve right now? It's a pretty big disparity. It's so hard to catch this up. Now that he has his GA, their team fight becomes a lot stronger as well. Got to kill their frontliner twice. Rek'Sai going for a Titanic Hydra by the look of it. Selfie going for a Ludens. He must have CDR and runes, unless he's happy with only having 20% CDR, but I don't think most mid laners are on Karma. I think you want more, to be honest. Steve's over on the bottom side with both globals. Alfari's here, he gets to generate Mega Gnar bar. And they just take the Baron. They just sneak it. Wow. So they have vision control here. Rek'Sai ults back in. They push the wave. I mean, it should be fairly obvious they're going for Baron here. They have a blue trinket up. Rallis has blue trinket right now. The whole team just runs up into the Baron area. Rallis doesn't. Okay, now he drops the blue trinket. So it's under half HP when he drops blue trinket. That should be dropped. I mean, like, you want to hold on to it for as long as possible, I understand, but it should almost be dropped straight away. And you have Shenalty, so you can check in here with Vladimir. You have all Vladimir's summoners up as well. You don't have flash, but wow, just gets taken down. But with such a big beefy front line with Tom, Gragas, Vladimir, you have so many abilities to check bushes there. They just underestimate the speed that Misfits can take it at. Now that's pretty much game. I think a lot of this comes down to drafts, honestly, and wave management. Schalke didn't really seem to have a good grip of wave management or turning it into objectives, or just not the option to actually do so, even if their grip of it is good, just because of the draft. I have to say, not particularly impressed with Hans Sommer. Maybe it's just a bad representation, because this is the first time I've seen him play, honestly. I haven't seen Misfits play at all, apart from like 1 or 2 games where they were squishing everything, so it's hard to like really appraise properly. He just gets whammed, just gets walloped. I think, and the Jin ulti had already gone down onto no one important. The problem with having like a 2-threat comp is when they focus out the Vladimir and the Vladimir's on his own and Jin's miles away, then it makes it pretty easy to decide who to shoot. If you're ahead with this comp, it's great. But not convinced by the draft. Now it's just a case of closing out really simply. Okay, so that's game number 1, pretty much. I don't think we'll bother watching anymore unless there's anything super interesting happening. Hans Sommer, will he live? Flashes out, nice ulti from Alfari. That should be the team fight after this point. If they can't kill Hans Sommer in one burst, then they lose the team fight. Even if they don't lose the team fight, they still lose their towers. That should be game. Will they back off? Well, no, Wisdom went back, so they're okay to stay. Fox pulled down. Hans Sommer's still not dead. Even if Steve hits that taunt, Hans doesn't die. Okay, that's game over. Okay, cool. So, not much to say about that one, honestly. Pretty much just a couple of mispositioning errors. Misfits looked okay. Couple of lane assignment things, couple of little disrespects, but apart from that, they look pretty clean. So let's move on to the next game of the series. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.